Hello, I'm Dr. Jeremy McBain, and I'm honored to be asked by the Texas Music Educators Association to select the All-State Trumpet Etudes for 23-24. I chose the Vern 40 Studies book, which provides a wide musical palette to showcase your sound, style, virtuosity, phrasing, and technique. In this video series, I will suggest and demonstrate strategies to help you master challenging aspects of each of these etudes. I hope you'll enjoy practicing and performing these etudes and that you'll improve your skills and musicality in the process. Feel free to reach out to me at jmcbain@uttyler.edu with any questions. Good luck. In Verbs Etude 26, the opening dynamic is marked mezzo forte. Think of this as a starting place instead of playing the entire etude at mezzo forte. The etude is also marked con moto, or with motion or energy. With this, you'll want to keep direction in your musical line. The etude's written in D minor, so you'll want to practice that scale outside of the etude and become familiar with the tonality and finger patterns. As with the other etudes, I recommend slurring the entire etude in your practice, striving for fluidity and command of each of the intervals without the aid of the tongue. Once this is consistent, then add a light legato tongue and further emphasis and articulation, or a lifted style if you prefer. Practicing skeleton patterns is very useful to outline and simplify your sound production and efficiency. I'll show you 4 different examples of how you can use a skeleton pattern in the first 4 lines of the etude. Strive to keep your approach the same between the skeleton pattern and the actual etude. Your air and embouchure are nearly identical between the two, only your finger pattern should change. A rhythmically challenging section can be found in measures 21 and 27. Many people will skip ahead and not play with a steady pulse in these bars. I would practice each of these bars in 4 ways with a metronome. First, subdivide all the rests and all the long notes. Second, subdivide only the long notes. Third, take out the subdivision but still break the tie on the bar line. And then finally, play as written, continuing to feel the subdivision in the rests and the long notes. A few final notes on this etude. Follow the articulations to the T. Sing the phrases and play them while you're recording, watching the music to be sure you have them correct early in the process. Mark the most challenging measures off with brackets on your music. Devote slow, slurred practice to build your technique, and then add in the articulation and build the tempo with a metronome. Always play musically and sing in order to keep your musical line alive. Dig in with stylistic inflection and contrast to bring this etude to life. Be creative and have fun. Good luck, and feel free to reach out to me via email if you have any questions. Verm's Etude 31 was selected to showcase one's lyrical or song-like approach to the trumpet. I recommend singing this etude phrase by phrase, followed by playing on the trumpet. While the tempo is marked eighth note equals 98, it will likely be better phrased by feeling the larger pulse of the quarter note equals 49 and subdividing, especially on the long notes. Slur this etude often in your practice and only add in the articulation once you've achieved a smooth flowing musical line. First, let's look at the ornaments that are featured in this etude. When you see TR over the note, that is a trill. In the Romantic era in which this etude was written, it's appropriate to start on the written note and trill up to the next note in the key. So for example, in bar 4, you would start on an E and trill up to an F natural. The grace notes you find in bars 3, 14, and 23 should be placed before the beat rather than on the beat. First, practice with a metronome, but leave out the ornaments in your first run through. Make sure everything is perfectly in time and the phrase is fluid. Once you can do this, then it's time to add in the trills and grace notes while keeping the pulse the same. You'll want to use vibrato, especially in this etude. It will help you warm up the sound and give it color and direction. Record yourself often and listen to great vocalists, string players, and trumpet players, imitating until you find that vibrato becomes part of your sound. Etudes by Getchell, Conconi, and Bordoni are all great to practice the use of vibrato in addition to simple long tone practice. Here are a few specific notes. In measure 3, the last beat has 9 notes, and you can best divide this into 3 groups of 3. I'll demonstrate how you might practice this by only playing the first, 4th, and 7 notes of the ninelet, and outlining basically a triplet over the last full quarter note beat of the bar. In measure 15, you may notice a change of character as we shift into G minor, the relative minor of the opening and closing B flat major. Continue to play lyrically. However, you may choose to add some weight in your articulation at times. The last fundamental piece of advice I'd like to leave you with in this etude is how to work on large intervallic leaps. Lip slurs are a great place to start to build your flexibility on the trumpet. These can be found in Arbin, Schlossberg, Irons, Collins, Bylin, and Scott Belk's books. Beyond these slurs, diatonic slur exercises are another way to increase your flexibility. Schlossberg and Arbin have these drills that work within and beyond the octave to help you keep a horizontal line throughout the larger leaps that we find in this etude. Daily practice in each of these 2 categories of slurs will make trumpet playing much more enjoyable. And finally, remember to always play with a beautiful and singing sound and clear, simple phrasing. That will help you draw in your audience, or audition committee in this case, and keep them captivated by your performance. Sing often and follow this with the trumpet to recreate the beautiful melody that's in your head. Worm's fifth etude was selected to showcase technical virtuosity, musical flow, and articulation. Pay careful attention to the articulation markings. Some measures are completely slurred, some three-note slurred, sometimes slur tongue or tongue slur. Sometimes you slur into the downbeat, and other times you tongue the downbeat. Play slowly at first, singing these articulations and recording yourself frequently to make sure you're actually playing what's on the page. It's good practice to slur the complete etude and or phrase by phrase to ensure your air is consistent through the phrase. Practice Arbin scale studies and chromatic scales and triplets, first playing all slurred and then legato tonguing, keeping the same airstream. This will help set you up well for a linear, consistent sound production and articulation. Do this with the metronome to ensure consistent time in your fingers while you're building technique. Regarding dynamics, this etude starts piano, but you shouldn't feel locked into this dynamic throughout. Feel free to take liberties with the dynamic in this etude. A dynamic change and or character change may be warranted in measure 32, as Worm shifts to the relative key of E minor. Returning to the dynamic of piano would be a good idea in bars 24, 40, and 56 due to the motivic content in these bars. Record yourself often and see which dynamics you prefer. Focus on beauty of sound, fluid musical lines, and effortless technique. Only increase your tempo in your practice once you've achieved these three elements. Remember, start practicing slowly with a metronome to build reliable technique and good habits.